Hi guys, welcome to the show. I'm Annie.
I'm Terrence.
And here are the goods. So, episode 10, T. Yeah. We're already on episode 10.
I know. Did you imagine us being here when we first started?
I didn't imagine episode 2.
I imagine episode 2, it's kind of like, we messed up so bad in episode 1, we had to just redo it again. So, here's episode 2.
Yep. So, Oscar nominations. Oscar nominations have been put out. We are on the road to the Oscars now.
Right.
All right. We have some pretty good categories. Got some decent titles there coming out that were nominated. Now it's got a little bit of a controversy right now going on to it. Mm-hmm. But let's go over the nominations right now. Best Director. We got George Miller for Mad Max, Adam McKay for The Big Short, Lenny Abrahamson, I hope I said that right, Lenny Abrahamson, there you go, for Room, Alejandro González Inarritu for The Revenant, Tom McCarthy for Spotlight, which, you know what, you can't go wrong with any of those titles.
My pick is for the guy with the hard to pronounce last name who directed The Revenant.
You know what? I'm with you on that.
Because that movie was directed awesome, and from what I hear, when they did it, it wasn't like, okay, we have to wait till tomorrow to shoot in this particular type of light. They had to wait days and sometimes weeks to get the right type of light and the weather and stuff like that. So, I mean, just because if somebody can give the same amount of credit for Boyhood, for the amount of time it took him to make that movie, he's got to get that same type of respect.
And I think it was nominated for 12 different awards.
Yeah.
And the cinematography on that was just amazing. And so hopefully that is the case. For Best Picture, we got Bridge of Spies.
Which I didn't get a chance to see.
But not bad, actually. It's not too bad of a movie. It kind of reminds me along the lines of The Road to Perdition.
Really? Then I really want to see it now.
Going toward that in that kind of era and all that.
I love Road to Perdition.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay.
The Revenant. Spotlight. Martian. And this time it's not for musical.
I was going to say, we're doing the wrong category.
Big Short. I'm hearing a lot of that now. Out of those movies, in all honesty, maybe The Big Short. Okay. I think that should have been Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, you mean take it out of the category?
Taking Big Short out and put Straight Outta Compton in. That definitely, that was my pick. We'll talk a little bit more about that one in a little bit.
Okay.
For Best Actor, we got Eddie Redmayne, who won last year for The Theory of Everything. He won. He's nominated for The Danish Girl.
Okay. How many times you get a back-to-back, winner? I don't think that really happens.
Yeah, well, in '93, Tom Hanks won for Philadelphia, and then in '94 he came back and he won for Forrest Gump.
Oh, okay.
So that was the last time that was done. Before that, it was actually Spencer Tracy. One of them for him was Boys Town. I apologize, I don't remember the other one.
Okay.
But that's the difference as far as time when it comes to back-to-back. Bryan Cranston for Trumbo. Walter White there for Trumbo.
That's one of the movies, because obviously when the nominations come out, then you start making your list of like the movies that you haven't seen, like you still need to see.
Yeah.
So now these are all movies, especially the Trumbo one. I've been wanting to see the Trumbo one, and now that you told me about Bridge of Spies with The Road to Perdition kind of parallels, so those are two that I really want to see.
So far, you got some pretty solid nominees there. Matt Damon for The Martian, and Leonardo DiCaprio for Revenant. Now, it's kind of hard to say. I would if I had to take anybody out, I would have probably taken out Fassbender. And
really, they said that his portrayal of Steve Jobs was excellent. They said the movie wasn't that great, and unfortunately, I did not watch it because the first one I was Steve Jobs out. But now that everybody talks about with his nomination, everybody talks about his performance in it was so good, even though he looks nothing like Steve Jobs, but his performance was so good that it's worth seeing the movie.
But I would have probably taken him out because I think, now you mentioned that he was good but the movie wasn't. Will Smith was good and Concussion was good.
Right.
So I would have definitely gone Will Smith instead of Michael Fassbender. Best Actress, Brie Larson for Room, Kate Blanchett for Carol, Saoirse Ronan for Brooklyn. I don't think I said that right, but you know what I'm talking about.
Closer than I was.
Oh yeah. Jennifer Lawrence for Joy, and Charlotte Rampling for 45 years, and she's the oldest out of everybody on there. And I don't know if you remember Charlotte Rampling, but she was actually the marine biologist in Orca.
Really?
Do you remember that movie?
Barely.
Yeah. Well, it's one of my favorite movies.
I remember it was a movie, and I know it featured whales because the title was Orca.
So that's how I remember Charlotte Rampling.
Wow.
Or in Richard Harris and Orca.
Wow.
Anyway, so
that's a long journey to get there.
I think well, she's done a lot. As a matter of fact, she's gotten kudos of awards and nominations previously. I don't remember exactly what titles. I apologize. But so she's actually been active as far as her acting. So good for her.
Okay.
She's kind of a dark horse on that one. I really don't see her winning that one, but maybe. Best Supporting Actor, Mark Ruffalo for Spotlight. Tom Hardy for The Revenant.
Yeah.
Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies, and Christian Bale for The Big Short.
Okay.
And of course, Sylvester Stallone in Creed. So
okay. So for supporting, though, have you seen The Hateful Eight?
Yes, I've seen The Hateful Eight.
Samuel Jackson for supporting?
But he's not supporting. He's more of the main star in that movie.
No, I mean...
I don't think Kurt Russell's the main star of Hateful Eight. I think,
really?
No, I don't. I think that it's 3 hours of pretty much Sam Jackson talking trash. And
I mean, but he came later in the movie. You can't say he's a main... He's the star of a movie. He showed up like a quarter of the movie was done before he showed up.
No, I don't know.
All right, okay.
Not in Tarantino time. So, but you know what? I do like that.
But still, it's like the focus was between 8 characters. So, I mean, you would figure everybody's technically a supporting actor at that point.
Now, Mark Rylance was pretty good in Bridge of Spies. But maybe one of those cast members from The Hateful Eight. Maybe Sam Jackson for that. Sam Jackson is overdue for a freaking award, to be honest with you.
Very true.
He should have won for Pulp Fiction. But so on that one, I love Sylvester Stallone. But we'll get to predictions as closer we get to the actual show. Best Supporting Actress. We have Rachel McAdams in Spotlight, Rooney Mara in Carol, Jennifer Jason Leigh in The Hateful Eight. Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs, who just won a Golden Globe for that performance, and Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl.
Okay, how does she get supporting, and you say Sam doesn't get supporting, when she was in the whole movie?
Because...
Exactly. Thank you. This is one of those times where I actually won a point. He doesn't have a comeback.
Wait a minute.
He has a comeback for everything. And I won this. I won it. Just move on, because I won this.
But she wasn't the star of the movie. She was still, The movie
was based on her.
The whole plot was based on her. Okay. All right, fine. Hey, either way, the nominees are good. They're very worthy of it. And with every show, Oscar show, you're gonna have your snubs. And for me, the biggest snub for me was Straight Outta Compton. I mean, that movie was so freaking excellent, and the portrayals by the actors in all of them, especially being their first time, more or less. They were excellent. F. Gary Gray should have been nominated for director. Jason Mitchell should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor for playing Eazy-E. You know what? You want to throw music in there? Absolutely. That music pioneered, a lot of hip hop. It took it to the next level. It kind of like took another step to what Run DMC and LL and all these guys did. NWA took it another level too. Mm-hmm. So, I think that was, for me, that was the biggest snub of it. What do you think?
That has to be, I mean, to be honest, it's a big one, but Will Smith not being nominated. I mean, you talk about people who are overdue for one. I mean,
7 pounds. If you want to test Will Smith's acting chops and you don't think he's a good actor, watch 7 pounds. That guy, you're absolutely right. He is overdue on one, definitely.
And for Concussion, he made you believe that he was his African doctor. I mean, you bought into it. Tell the truth. You bought into that.
And then you want to tell the truth.
So that's what I said. That's probably my biggest snub is him. You know, he should have been nominated. And that's one of those movies when it gets released, people said that movie's going to be nominated. It's going to be in the running for an Oscar, and to just be left to the wayside like that is
I didn't agree with that. Now, as we're on this topic of Will Smith, of Straight Outta Compton, there is a little bit of controversy concerning the Oscars this year, and that is that there are no African Americans that are nominated for anything.
No people of color, period.
Well, that's where you're wrong, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But celebrities
was a Grip Boy nominated or something like that? They call Hector from the back. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I finished. Celebrities like Jada Pinkett and Spike Lee have petitioned to boycott the Oscars now.
Okay.
Now, do you agree, as an African American man yourself, do you agree with their concern for this?
I understand it, and I understand why they want to boycott. I understand, them making it public so that way people understand, because people skip the Oscars or skip award ceremonies all the time. It's not that big of a deal. So for them to actually go out and make it known, because they want to say this is a statement that we're making, but in the eyes of Hollywood, in the eyes of the Oscars, it's not gonna mean much. And I appreciate the thought, but if they had gotten everybody on board, or at least got a good group of people who were technically nominated, to say that we're gonna skip because you're not recognizing people who I don't want to say who aren't white, but you aren't recognizing other people who did really, really great jobs who have color in their skin. I mean, it's because they can add more people to these categories, and they just chose not to. So I get it, but I just think that I don't think it's going to mean much.
Well,
I think next year it'll be forgotten.
Their claim would be because they say absence of color, basically, which is kind of hypocritical considering that Alejandro Gonzalez Inarito is of Latin descent. He's a Latino, and that is a color. So, as a Latino man myself, there has never been really any Latins that have been recognized, and there hasn't been much made of that. You got Halle Berry as a Best Actress winner, Denzel Washington a Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor, Spike Lee numerous recognition and great work, not taking anything away from anybody. But there have been, Viola Davis recently, wasn't it? For The Help?
Didn't Penelope Cruz get nominated? Didn't Benicio del Toro get nominated?
Penelope Cruz actually did. She did win. But what I'm saying is that when you have there has been more African Americans, in my opinion, that have been nominated or have won than Latins.
No, and I'll give you that.
But I don't see Latin people making that, going as far as saying boycotting. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand that. If Jada Pinkett is talking about, and Spike Lee is talking about absence of color, that's not true, because there is diversity there. It's just not, with African Americans in there.
Well, I'll counter a little bit, and I don't think they mean that. I mean, you're right. You're definitely right. But have you seen his face?
Alejandro?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen his face because
there was a joke, and we talked about it in the last show. There was even it was offensive borderline, with Sean Penn, asking for his green card or whatever. Now they know each other, and it's an inside joke, and that's fine. I understand that. I'm not talking about that. But what I'm saying is that there are so many things that people get away with when it comes, to Latins, to Asians, because I don't see any Asians either. They're saying there's so many things that are being talked about in this when it comes to race and all this other stuff. I don't think that the color part is got to be an issue. Where there's snubs, yes, but maybe it's just the way the Academy saw it for what it was. Denzel Washington just received the Cecil B. DeMille Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, for the Golden Globes, and I'm not really hearing anything about that. I'm not hearing any praise for the Hollywood press, or the foreign press that recognize that.
In two different things. All right, one, I think we're looking at it wrong. What they're saying is that we have these great performances by people of color, and these are people you actually get to see on screen, not somebody behind the camera, not somebody that you don't get to see offside, producers, directors, who's making fun of the grip, but but it's these are people we're actually seeing. So when you watch a movie, you're like, hey, he's doing a good job. He's representing me. So that's what they're talking about. Like these people who show other races that, hey, you guys can be recognized too. You can do these great things and be recognized with this particular organization. And this particular year, it just felt like nothing but people of color got slighted. So that's their problem with it. Now, my other point was, man, I actually got so caught up and I forgot what my other point was. Okay.
This is probably the most serious conversation we ever had on the goods.
What was the second part you were talking about? Because I had two different things.
Just the people of color and the recognition for Denzel. Is that what
oh no, is that because they didn't say like all of Hollywood didn't do it? They were just saying specifically to the Oscars. It was like in the Oscars, because obviously we do know that now people of color have actually won awards before. And it's like, and they've won Oscars. We get it. They were just actually making. It just seemed that this year, why did so many it?
Well, now I am not disagreeing with I just said the biggest snub for me was Straight Outta Compton.
Exactly. So,
but it had nothing to do with them being black. It had everything to do with the content. I don't care about color. I mean, I'm talking about the content and the performances, and the focus that F. Gary Gray did and Dr. Dre and Ice Cube with producing it and doing such a damn good job at it. I just really believe that it should have been nominated. It should have been nominated. Yes, I agree with that. But I don't think that it was. I don't think that it was meant that way. I don't think that.
Okay, maybe.
Do you think maybe it was because it was a hip hop movie and it was
yes, exactly. Because unfortunately, 3 6 Mafia won a dang award.
Exactly. So that's why I don't get it.
No. I don't think they meant it specifically. Like, hey, they're being outright racist, and not nominated. It's like they just chose not to do it.
Exactly. And that's what. I'm
not saying that they're not saying that. What they're saying is that why did so many snubs come when we had all these other great performances out there and no one of color is nominated? They're just making a point like, hey, you guys, whether it was intent or unintentional or intentional, there was a big oversight done here. And that's what they're saying. That's all they're saying. They're not saying, because we know that people have won. We know they've nominated people. It's like that. Just look, hey, next time, pay more attention. This is a huge oversight.
Yeah.
And that's all they're saying. I don't want to make it to say like, because I'm not that person that's like, oh, it's always this is a black issue or this is a racial issue. It's like all they're saying is that, and the reason why I'm kind of with them on this is that they're just saying that this was a huge oversight, and nobody looked at this and said, wow, there's nobody of color here.
Yeah, to be honest, because those were the biggest snubs for me, were those two.
And not that I want to say that it's like, hey, you got to give us a token one in there, because I just thought about it right now. You don't have to give us a token one, but in the same breath, we all are saying, why weren't these people nominated? These aren't people like, hey, it was kind of a good movie. These were great movies.
And and that's why I said what movie should have been taken out. Bridge of Spies or even Mad Max to a certain degree. I think one of those should have been taken out. Or they should have brought back the freaking 10, where they nominate 10 and have Straight Outta Compton in there.
I don't understand what the limitation is for it. If you feel like this is a good movie and you feel like it's worthy of being nominated, just put it in. There's only one's going to win anyway. I don't care how many people are nominated. There's only one's going to win.
I still don't, like I said, I'm not for boycotting it or anything like that. I think that's I get it and I understand. I'm not for boycotting it, because you know what? I'm rooting for Leo, and I don't care.
I want Leo to win too.
That's right. We want Leo to win. So that's a big thing for me on this one. So I'm not boycotting anything. Now here's the thing that kind of bothers me. Now you can take you're more than likely going to take it like I don't like this,
right. And
here's what it is. Okay, you can't nominate a person of color for any of these categories that they deserve. Will Smith, Straight Outta Compton, Jason Mitchell, stuff like that, people like that. But you can't have a African American host to host the Oscars.
Oh, with Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Okay, so Chris Rock, the first time he did the Oscars, I thought he was great. I thought he was freaking hilarious, and so but through especially them old black folk can see it this way. that there's a black man entertaining white folks. Okay. Do you see that? Do you think that way? Would you take it that far?
No, because Chris Rock has hosted stuff before.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
No, and I would no, because this is a big thing for people in the industry to host an award ceremony. So I mean, this is a form of status. Like, hey, you've come up so far that you got to host a show. I mean, even like, didn't we have Drake host something and just recently?
I don't remember.
I mean, but I remember.
I can't remember.
He hosted, but say, I mean, just the simple fact that like, you know, people hold this in high regard to be able to host an award ceremony like this. So I wouldn't think about it like that. What I do say is that, now thinking back to awards, is how come Straight Outta Compton didn't get a musical nomination? Not even that. How come Concussion didn't get thrown in comedy? Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. We want the truth. All kidding aside,
I mean, because they did tokens ones in other ceremonies, and other award ceremonies, because they felt like they couldn't throw them in those categories. It's fine. Hey, you know what? Throw somebody, because they're, instead of snubbing them, if we're gonna be doing this, throwing somebody in a category they don't need to be thrown in.
Now here's and I think you're absolutely right. And I have a feeling, for some reason or another, that they'll have another like Lifetime Achievement Award type of award. And
To Will Smith?
Last week, I believe either last year or the year before, I think Sidney Poitier got it.
Okay.
This year,
Sidney Poitier.
This year, you never know. You just never know. Could it be Denzel again? Who knows? But
you get 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards.
Well, you get the Cecil B. That's the Hollywood Foreign Press. That's Globes. That's different. This is something else. This is the Academy. So,
how you get 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards? I can't get one.
So, regardless, for all the nominees, congratulations, y'all did deserve your nominations. And for on behalf of me and T, we think that Will Smith and the cast and crew of Straight Outta Compton were freaking amazing. Straight Outta Compton, for me, was the best movie of the year, bar none. Just a special snub that, not a lot of people really thought about. But you know what? Michael B. Jordan for Creed, I thought, it was worth something.
I should be complaining that Star Wars wasn't nominated.
And what's up with Star Wars not being nominated? Well, I mean, visuals, and we said that.
They waited a whole month and then didn't nominate it for Best Picture.
Well, we'll talk about
Injustice.
We'll talk about it in the rule too. So keep an eye out for that.
Injustice, man.
So wow. So we go from the serious political talk.
Black Stormtrooper.
You got a Black Stormtrooper. How about that?
Go ahead. We're done political talk.
All right. So let's go back to some fun stuff. So Die Hard 6 is going to be coming out. Okay. Now it's going to actually be Die Hard Year 1. And
it's like Batman Year 1.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's directed by directed by Frank Miller, who did Batman Year 1. No, I'm just kidding.
You actually had me here for a minute. I was like, what?
No, I'm just kidding. It takes place 10 years before the Nakatomi incident,
which makes no sense.
And it actually talks about why John McClane is the way he is. When you're watching Die Hard, he's kind of broken. Him and his wife are this and that. He's having problems with his captain back home. Why? What happened? What's going on? So
when he was a regular cop, before he got to the Nakatomi building, which forced him into that action to doing all that stuff,
it prepared him for Nakatomi. Let's just say that. So this is that they're going to pretty much talk about what is it that happened that prepared him for Nakatomi.
So then you lessen Die Hard now, because before it was like,
why explain it? That's what I want to know. Why
he is a cop forced in this situation. Hey. Nobody can help out. Nobody there's no way I have to do this because my family's inside.
And then he said goody goo goo.
And then he said
let me G.I. Joe and wipe him up my ass.
Nobody gets that.
Nobody gets that joke. That's okay. All right. So Bruce Willis will be back. At first, it was supposed to be in a cameo, but now he's gonna have a little bit of a bigger part.
Cameo
your own franchise? Yeah. Well, here's the I read somewhere Die Hard, Die Loopier, and it's like Die Loopier. Something like that. I don't know. I read that.
That's like, whoever did that one. That was awesome.
So he will be back now. We talked about it last week with Creed 2, episode before. What do you think about them going the Godfather route?
No.
I don't think so either. I think
they should just scrub this whole freaking idea, man. Just throw it in the trash. Especially coming off the whole
thing that make up after
that. I'm sorry, and I apologize for not remembering his name, but the guy who played Hans, him passing.
Oh, Gruber. Well, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, but it was like this is coming on the heels of that, and man, y'all should just scrub this idea.
Yeah, I don't even. I believe they do need to make another Die Hard to make up for Good Day to Die Hard, because that movie was so freaking horrible.
Yeah, it's called Stop. Make that movie Stop.
Stop hard.
It's just that Stop.
So one of the movies of this year of 2016.
Or start over with just stop.
One of the highly anticipated movies of 2016 is Deadpool. It's really high on our list. I think it was your number one.
Yes.
My number two. And I cannot wait for this movie. It's just going to be freaking amazing. And Ryan Reynolds has done an awesome job marketing this thing. I mean, he is like full force on board with this show. And he was such a good sport, and he's so awesome that there was a screening. And everybody thought it was just some footage, some clips, some stuff like that, whatever. Well, he shows up to the screening.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so Ryan Reynolds shows up to the screening, and they show the audience the entire movie.
Holy crap!
They show him the entire movie. He's at Van City on Twitter, so if you want to check out his
I follow him, and I somehow missed this.
I follow him too. He's awesome. So take a look at that. But they got to see the film. Now,
man, if this movie doesn't make $1 billion,
no, it's not going to make $1 billion.
If this movie doesn't make $1 billion,
it's not going to make $1 billion. Billion pesos? Yen?
Maybe.
No. Anyway, well, I don't know. China's hard to freaking impress right now. Jeez.
Hey, maybe next year the Oscars will recognize him and he'll get nominated. He's Canadian. There's something. Sorry.
So there is a big thing about it being a rated R, and that's probably why they the people that saw it are really praising it, royally praising this movie. Mm-hmm. Marvel stepped out of the box, and they went a hard R, and from what I understand, it is a hard R.
Fox stepped out of the box. Marvel is still in their PG-13 box.
Oh yeah, I guess you could say that. But anyway, so it's a hard R, and everybody's excited for it, except for a few. And because they're not excited, they want to. Well, actually, they started a petition already to release a PG-13 version of the movie.
Can it be like 5 minutes long? Can y'all do that? That would be hilarious. And put it on a Blu-ray. It's like the PG-13 version. It's like 5 minutes long. It's just like clip, credits.
I like this. Kids that want to see this in PG-13. If you really want to see Deadpool in PG-13, it's called the Green Band trailer. Just watch that.
But that's not the movie.
I know that. That's my point. I'm making your point.
You watch 2 Green Band trailers.
2 Green Band trailers.
That's your PG-13 movie.
Yeah. Sorry guys, but it's not gonna happen. It is a hard R. It's gonna stay a hard R. As a matter of fact, Hugh Jackman is quoted to saying that Wolverine 3 is his last movie. Mm-hmm. I would make Wolverine 3 hard R and just drop the mic, drop the clothes and the mic, and right off into the sunset.
They're inching towards that because they did the unrated version of the Wolverine. So I mean, that's when it's a little bit more blood and a little bit more intense. You like squibs? Remember, you like practical. You like CGI.
It's like digital though. It's digital squib.
Oh.
That's how you like it. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So sorry guys. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a hard R, and it's going to be.
I want this movie to do $1 billion, so then that way we can stop kind of skirting around. How adult we should make a superhero film. So they'll go full out. We'll be able to get certain titles that we couldn't get before, like. Spawn should have been rated R, and
Spawn should have been rated R.
Spawn should have been rated. Absolutely. It's like we'll stop trying to kind of tone down and kind of mellow out characters that aren't really supposed to by showing that we can support an actual R-rated comic book movie, because the studios are so worried. It's like if we do a comic book movie, it's for children, and then they can't go see it because it's rated R, because none of their parents are going to take them, then nobody's going to see this movie. It's not going to make any money. If we show as adults that we want to have adult superhero characters and movies of that sort, like I want R-rated Blades, and I think 1 or 2 of them were R-rated, and I think the third one wasn't. I think the third one was PG-13.
No, they were all
rated R?
They were all rated R.
Oh, okay.
It just third one sucked that bad.
Sorry, it seemed like a PG-13 movie, but
that's where Ryan Reynolds was not very good.
I'm sorry. He was probably the best thing in that movie. Yeah. But still, is that if this movie does well, then we will see harder superhero movies. We'll get an adult content level. So like Marvel used to do when they did like Punisher Warzone.
That was good. That was an underrated movie, by the way.
I actually didn't like it, but
Right.
but they were under this label called Marvel Knights, and Marvel Knights did their horror films.
Yeah, they
and
did
it was
the horror
like we
films,
can bring that back, and it was like because now we've shown that we can make really really good superhero movies, and if we can get one to sell at an R rating, we'll be able to get these really good R-rated superhero movies. I mean, because I love PG-13 movies. I take my kids to see damn near every PG-13 movie that comes out. But still, I kind of want to see a movie where I'm like, this was written for them.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Now, mine was Wolverine. Out of the existing franchises that are out right now, which one would you make rated R?
And not going Wolverine. That's...
Well, I've already said Wolverine.
I'm saying not going Wolverine. Everything's so whitewashed right now. Let me see. There's Captain America, there's Thor, there's Iron Man.
Yeah, those can't go rated R.
Fantastic Four can't go rated R.
Let's get a good one first.
Yeah,
and then we can talk about rating.
X-Men's been PG-13 for so long. I don't even know what a rated R X-Men movie would look like. Maybe Gambit. I mean, you could show...
That's not bad. That's not a bad one.
You could show that suave guy and him, swooning ladies type deal. You could do that, and we could really get into how, like, devastating his powers are, being able to charge and blow things up. And, somebody tried to sell me on how BA Jubilee was, and I was talking about how crappy she was. Hey, but I know there's Jubilee fans, and look, I was a big fan of the TV show, and even of the old X-Men comic books when they had the blue and the gold team and stuff like that, and she was always Wolverine's sidekick. I love Jubilee, but her powers are crappy. I'm sorry. But Gambit's, maybe they could do something that really shows off his power. And it was like I said, it's because I can't really think of anything. Gambit's character is roguish, and he's a ladies' man. I can't really think of anything that's really PG-13 about Gambit except that he was in a cartoon.
Okay. Now, G.I. Joe was a comic also. What about G.I. Joe rated R?
Where they actually shoot people?
Yeah.
Where they actually hit?
Yeah.
That would be something. Because we watched...
you get some good Kill Bill type martial arts from
But they would actually have to kill characters. That would be crazy. I've never seen that ever before in G.I. Joe. What if nobody dies? Duke almost died. Nobody dies. Oh, well, Duke died in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the comic and the cartoon. In the cartoon where he almost died. But, that's the closest we ever gotten to somebody really dying in G.I. Joe.
So, maybe G.I. Joe. I mean, you said it earlier, Spawn, definitely. But, maybe G.I. Joe. Maybe Infinity War.
I would love to see Spawn come back.
What about Infinity War?
Nah, they're not going to do Infinity War. That's too much money in Infinity War. But I would like to see Spawn as rated R. There you go.
Well, either way, we can't wait for Deadpool, and it's going to be freaking amazing. So, ever so often, when we really hit that hard-hitting journalistic vibe here,
we do.
No.
Oh, okay.
And that is why we have the red ink.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
So, today, I want to just let you know about some mistakes that we make because we suck. Big Daddy was played by Don Johnson in Django Unchained.
Oh, I couldn't remember what the name of the character was, right? And I love that movie. I don't know how I forget everybody's names. I'm sorry, but I do. It's just one of my things. If I ever meet you and I was, hey, what's up, bruh? Or, hey, sweetie, it's because I really don't know your dang own name. I'm sorry. But that happens.
Well, my trick is to actually find somebody so I can introduce them to. And then they introduce themselves, and then I say,
I would prefer to do the Austin Powers. There you are.
I don't know you, but there you are. All right. Carol Kane. I said she played a queen. She plays the ghost who dressed like a fairy in Scrooged. I said she was. She was the little queen.
I didn't even catch that. That was one of my top 5. How did I not even catch that?
Sticking to Gotham, Robin Lord Taylor plays the Penguin. We couldn't watch.
I don't even watch Gotham. I'm not even taking that one. I don't watch Gotham.
I'm taking it because I couldn't remember it. All right, now this one that's kind of interesting. Okay, I said that Titanic went over a little over budget and this and that, and that's why it was moved from summer to December in '97. Well, in fact, it was actually because Harrison Ford didn't really want to go against it with Air Force One.
Oh, well.
So
good move on Harrison Ford.
So they moved it, and he James Cameron should give the assist to Harrison Ford because I don't think Titanic would have done what it did in the summer.
No, it would have. Just nobody would have saw Air Force One.
Not in the summer though.
Nobody would saw Air Force One.
Well, I understand, but it wouldn't have been number 2. It wouldn't have been the number 2.
Okay, maybe
box office
maybe it would
had it not.
It would have lost maybe $100 million.
Whatever. And the biggest one for me, because I'm freaking horrible, and I don't even know what I was thinking. I might have confused it with a different show. That's the SAGs. I said that the Screen Actors Guild Awards were already. They're January 30th. So the SAGs haven't even taken place yet.
You know what? Nobody really watches it, so, you know.
But I guarantee you now that all this backlash has happened with
people are going to pay attention to every award show going forward.
No. Now that the backlash with African Americans and people of color not being nominated for the Oscars, I bet you they're all going to be nominated, or there's going to be a lot more notoriety, more recognition in the SAGs.
Yeah.
And the Screen Actors Guild.
Stay tuned. The BET Awards Part 2.
Well, better than the source. Right. And here's something interesting. I say a lot.
Yeah, you do.
You say that being said a lot.
I like that, though.
A lot. The next show will be called That Being Said. So that was the red ink.
I could have said, I say a lot.
Yes, you do say I'm a lot. So this is episode 10, and on behalf of T and Aspen behind the camera here, we really want to thank you for everything, for the viewerships, for the comments, for everything. We really appreciate the feedback, and just that you actually take some time out of your busy lives to actually watch two bums and a beautiful little girl over here, you know, because it's amazing, and we really appreciate it anyway. So on behalf of episode 1 that apologizes for being so bad, episode 10 says thank you.
We finally made it to double digits.
So here's our top 5. So the top 5 that we had on episode 1, where we did comic book movies, we want to do a callback for it because his top 5 was not very good.
He told me last minute. He was like, hey, top 5.
But it's comic book movies. You should know this like that. And I even gave you props.
I forget names. How do you expect
you're
to remember
horrible.
titles?
Anyway, so we are going to do the next 5 on our initial top 5.
And
so this is a continuation to make it top 10. So Terrence, let's round off. Let's give them the audience here your the initial top 4, really, because you never gave us a top 5. So give the audience your initial top 4 and then continue on.
I don't even remember my top 4 was. But
yes, you do.
All right, so I think that in episode 1, my top 4 was Captain America: The Winter Soldier was number 1. Iron Man was number 2. Transformers, the 1985 animated movie, was number 3. And then I had the Wolverine X-Men Origins, or X-Men Origins Wolverine was number 4. Screw you guys. That movie, that's a you don't hate that movie. That movie's a good. It will be on there. It's got like one flaw that people harp on. What was the one flaw? The one flaw was Deadpool.
Really? That was the one flaw? I would have said the cartoon knives. That was horrible for me.
We can talk about CG.
Okay, never mind. All right, I'm sorry. All right, so those are your number 4. What's your 5th one?
My 5th one, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2. I mean, we got Doc Ock. We got Harry finding out. We got Tobey Maguire before he did that whole emo thing, and Spider-Man 3. But Spider-Man 2 is probably the best Spider-Man movie to come out of both franchises.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with that.
All right, so number 6, Batman Returns. Batman Returns.
Good movie.
The best Penguin. And Danny DeVito. We got Michelle Pfeiffer as basically the only Catwoman that anybody really gives a crap about.
Excellent Catwoman. Excellent.
And we still have Michael Keaton as Batman, which I was surprised that they were able to bring him back for a second movie. I wish they would have done it for a third. And we got
tired of being overshadowed by the villains, but that's Batman.
Yeah, basically he's defined by his villains. But yeah, that movie was great. I mean, the first comic book movie. Well, it was one of the earliest comic book movies, but even looking at all the rest of comic book movies going forward, it was the first comic book movie and one of the only comic book movies to handle multiple villains and not feel like it was overly crowded, or it was too much at one time, or like nobody's story had been like tested enough. Everybody got equal screen time, everybody's stories got fleshed out, and we still saw a great movie put together. All right, okay, so number 7, X-Men First Class.
Good pick. I love that movie. Yeah.
And I struggled a little bit because I really do like X-Men Days of Future Past, but First Class kind of reinvigorated the whole X-Men franchise. Yeah. I mean, it did a great job. It showed us the old.
After what was that? The Last Stand.
Yeah. Oh God.
It helped erase the Last Stand.
The X-Men was spiraling after Last Stand, and so yeah, it introduced us to some old characters that hadn't been touched on in X-Men mythology before. Right. You know, it messed up a little bit of the backstory, but it did well enough. We even got a great cameo from Hugh Jackman. Exactly. You know, that was great. We got a new Xavier, and we didn't moan and complain about somebody being recasted. So I mean, I think that was a great film. Number 8, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In this comic book, okay, it counts.
Wait, but Michael Bay's? Or?
No, the first one. Oh, okay. God, no. The very first one.
The very first one.
The very first one when they wore suits. And they didn't have noses. They didn't have noses.
That's just an interesting pick.
They didn't have noses, and they used their weapons, and they actually knew karate or ninjutsu. It was really karate that they were using, but they knew a martial art in the film, not like every other movie that's come out since then, where the parents got together and said they couldn't use their weapons in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2 and 3, and then Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where they really didn't know martial arts. I mean, Splinter taught him a book where Rat could read. We're not gonna go there, but we're not gonna go there.
This is your top 5. You're the one burning yourself.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. But I haven't even picked that movie. But this movie was great. It's iconic in everybody's hearts. That's why.
Yes, it is. I love that movie.
All right, number 9, because I struggle with this movie because I really, really like it, but I always feel like there's better movies than it, and I actually kind of think it gets overhyped. It's Guardians of the Galaxy.
I love that movie.
That movie's it's a great movie, but I think it's a little bit overhyped because some people are like, it's the best, comic book movie ever. It's a good movie. It's not the best,
but it is good though.
But it's good enough to be on my top 10. And my number 10, and it's kind of a callback to X-Men Wolverine, Watchmen, because
how is that a callback to Wolverine?
Because that is a great movie, and people complain about it because one thing was not in the movie. It was a stupid squid from the comic books which is, by the way, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's no way they're gonna put that in a film. And for you people that complain about Watchmen not being a good movie because of stupid squid missing from the comic book, you're ridiculous. It's a great movie, and Zack Snyder did a great job filming this movie.
It was good. It was a good movie. Jeffrey D. Morgan was awesome.
Yeah,
he was probably the best, one of the best things in that whole movie.
So that's my top 10.
Awesome, baby.
My top.
You finally finished it.
My top 6.
You actually finally fixed it. Very nice. All right.
My bottom 6 that I didn't do first time.
So
many.
So in episode 1, my number 1 movie was The Dark Knight. My number 2 was The Avengers. Number 3 was The Crow. Number 4 was Blade 2, and number 5 was Superman 2. My new 5, my number 6 actually is Spider-Man 2 also. It was just freaking awesome. The story was really good in it, and how he kept losing his powers, then gaining it back, and then losing his powers. I mean, it was just awesome from a story standpoint. Continuing from what happened in the events of the first one and carrying it on. It was awesome, and it was a great ending. I love that ending. Number 7 was X2, X United. That was a really good one too for me. I thought that bringing in a little bit more focus on the mutants and everything was just all. I just love that movie.
I like they did Lady Deathstrike. That was awesome. That was actually really cool.
Yeah, Kelly Hu. Yeah, she was awesome.
They started focusing too much on Wolverine at that point, but go ahead.
Number 8 was Batman '89, and that was what Tim Burton did to get away a little bit from the camp from the 1960s show and actually introduce it and actually give it that dark tone that the comics had. I thought it was awesome. Casting Michael Keaton had a lot of controversy behind it.
The first superhero controversy casting,
but it turned out to be freaking awesome. It was an awesome pick, and Jack Nicholson was made to play the Joker, so it was excellent.
Number 2 Joker.
Number 9 was the original Superman. And in 1978, to have those kind of visuals on screen, it was unheard of. And I mean, even the tagline says, "You will believe a man could fly." And yeah, for the most part, at times, yeah, you could. I mean, that's what it looks like. So it was a great innovation as far as the special effects goes. And Donner did a great job. I really wish he would have stayed on to at least help out a little bit more on Superman 2, but.
It gave us one power that people recognize for Superman having that he's never used since is turning back the globe.
Yeah, that's right.
He's never used that power since.
And number 10 is going to be a shock. Yeah, it's a surprise. It's freaking Hellboy 2.
Really?
I loved Hellboy 2. That movie was so freaking good, and Ron Perlman was just freaking excellent.
I actually liked the first Hellboy better.
I liked Hellboy 1. It was all right, but Hellboy 2 was my favorite because the characters were already established, and there were no origin or nothing like that. So it was...
they kind of got the jump right.
Yeah, they already got to jump into it, and it was just freaking awesome. So that rounds out my top 10.
Right.
And
those good ones.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Not too bad. I'm happy for you, sir. You actually finally.
I was trying to give you credit with Batman '89 because I struggled with.
Well, I like your Batman Returns. That was pretty good. So, episode 10, and hopefully in episode 20, we'll hopefully we'll
do the bottom 5, the next 15, or
hey, we should do the worst. We should do the worst comic book movies on episode 20.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2.
No. Save it. But like I said before, thank you for all the support that you guys have given us. I've gotten a lot of praise and for the efforts that all of us goes in that we put into this, and none of it can be done without our director. So Aspen, can you come out here? Can you come out here, please?
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, come out here.
Oh my gosh, why?
Hurry up!
Come here.
Oh, okay.
Time's running.
I'm sorry.
You're in front of the camera.
I'm sorry.
So this is our director. This is the one that makes everything happen on the back end. And this is our editor.
Stop yelling at me in the comments.
He's the one that makes does everything on there. So as far as editing, puts everything together, and our graphics, that gets us in trouble sometimes.
All the time.
So on behalf of all of us, we just want to say thank you. And hopefully today's wasn't a little bit too preachy or anything and political. I apologize if it was. We really are a firm believer in the inequality and all that good stuff, and no hate, no racism, none of that crap. Asshole ain't got no color, so that doesn't matter. But Terrence, take us home.
Oh man, I almost forgot we were doing this. You went on for so long.
Sorry.
So like always, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you leave comments for us so that way we can kind of know what you guys are talking about, what you like, what you don't like. Also too, when you subscribe, you'll know when new videos get to come out, because once again, I'm trying to get my schedule better, so I apologize to you guys who do expect my videos or expect our videos to come out at certain time frames. This guy. But I'll get better. It's going to be definitely, we're going to try to stick to Fridays for the actual main podcast to come out, and then over the weekend as far as like a rule of 2 or you don't hate. Other than that being said, like I said, just reach out to us so that way we can keep in contact with you guys. So from me, Manny, Aspen, that was the goods.
See you next time.
Wicked.
All right, Margaret.
It's like Mike Epps.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to.
Like
But Mike Epps sucks.
Sorry, Kevin Hart. Sorry.
No, Kevin Hart is funnier than Mike Epps. Look at the improv they gave him on freaking Friday After Next.
Kevin Hart is better as a stand-up comedian. That's it.
I mean,
and I don't even like Kevin Hart's stand-up comic.
You give me a movie that Mike Epps has carried.
Friday After Next.
Friday After Next. That's your go-to movie. It's Friday After Next.
No, I'm sorry. Next Friday. Sorry.
Next Friday.
Yeah.
That's your go-to movie.
That's for Mike Epps.
Okay. After that, what else? Because Chris Tucker.
Next Day Air.
He didn't. Come on. Next Day Air is horrible.
Hangover.
All right. That's it. Next shirt. Black Doug.
Black Doug. See, it was hilarious.
Black Doug.
Hilarious.
All right. Let's go. Ready?
All right. Marker.
Black Doug.